And outside the box reviews, it's time for yet another Predator week. And today we're looking at the NECA Predator Wave 14 Celtic Predator from Alien vs. Predator. This seems like it's been the missing movie in NECA's Predator line for quite a while now. We started off with the most recent Predators movie. They went back into the classics. They went back and did part 2. If you go look at their previous line before the proper Predator series began, they did AVPR, but we never got NECA Alien vs. Predator Predators. A lot of people don't like this movie. A lot of people really hate the Predator design from it. But come on, we have every other version up on our shelves by this point. This was something we sorely needed, especially because those McFarlane ones are expensive as hell on the secondary market. And not only did NECA give us brand new Predator figures, but they gave us a brand new body mold, which I'm sure in a couple years from now we'll be sick and tired of looking at, and I'll gloss over all the details on then. But right now it is really freaking exciting. Because Celtic Predator is the first one I'm looking at in this series, I'm going to go a little more in depth in this review into the new sculpted bits, and then go a little quicker over them with the Scar and Chopper Predator reviews, and just highlight the specific differences in the sculpt there. But I am ridiculously excited to take a look at this figure, so let's not waste any more time and jump right in. For accessories, Celtic here comes with some very iconic AVP weapons. Here we have the Shuriken, which looks amazing. Really nice attention to detail. I think this is the first one I've ever seen with other colors in it. It has this kind of brownish gold section here in the middle, but the blades look nice. It feels brittle like every single one of these ever made has, but it doesn't feel quite as brittle as, say, the old McFarlane one and things like that. With some great sculpted detail in there. The silver is very nice and shiny and has a nice look to it, so definitely really nice looking here. Celtic also comes with an extended combi stick. He's the only one of this series that comes with an extended stick. The other ones come with retracted ones. Once again, very similar to what we got with the AVPR Wolf figure, but really nicely done. Continues that goldish, coppery brown section here in the middle, and also the two ornamental bits that would be the ends, I guess, when it all retracted. Nice silver in there as well. Ornate little spearhead here with some little tiny holes in it, which is really great attention to the detail. Coming down here, we have the kind of spikes coming off to the side. You can see the decorative work there in the goldish copper, and the handle itself looks really, really nice. I really like all the little tiny sculpted details here that really help bring out the look of everything here, and then it kind of just repeats itself down the other end of it. All of our new AVP Predators also come with the Ceremonial Dagger, which is really cool. The handle here has some more of that goldish copper, then it has kind of a darker grayish material back here. Got a little claw coming off the back, and then a nice silver blade here with heavy serrated edges. It's actually split down the middle here, so it does kind of flop around a little bit if you're just playing around with it. So I would be careful not to rip it, but looks very, very nice. Really like the sculpt on this. And then here on his leg, we actually have a sheath, so you can take that blade and slide it right in there for easy storage, which is awesome. For sculpt, I think NECA has done a great job here, really bringing out all the cool details in the armor and the body of this new Predator. Taking a look at the biomask for Celtic, I think they did a phenomenal job here. The eyes have this kind of really weird pearlescent look to them. The rest of the biomask, it's a little bland as far as the upper section go, but it has that great pounded metal look. There's a nice dark wash over top of it, highlighting all those little divots in it. We have the cannon sight up there, the little laser is looking really good. And then we bring in some of that goldish copper color into the mask itself, highlighting some of these little biomechanical looking sections. Just giving it a very nice look. I really, really enjoy what they did here. And one of the new features with the biomasks on these Predators is that we actually get cords that come out of the mask to actually be what would connect the mask to the rest of the suit. Now, from what I could tell, there's no real appropriate place for these to go. They don't really plug in anywhere. The ends are just kind of bare. So I've really just been tucking it back behind his dreadlocks, because looking at the movie, it seems like it connects somewhere kind of back behind their head. To me, it's just if you get him out of the way, make them look like they're looping around to something, you've pretty much accomplished the look. The dreadlocks, really cool looking. We got some short little ones up here in the front, which I don't think were actually in the movie, looking at some of the material there, but I like how they look here in general. Then we have some very, very long dreadlocks here. All the appropriate jewels, the gold pieces in there that look very, very nice. Any Predator you've had before, very similar deal with the rubberized dreads, but they look really good here. Very much have that AVP look where they're kind of big and bulky. And then even the sections of skin you could see coming around the top of the biomask look very, very nice. On the back here, we also get our brand new plasma cast Caster, which to me is kind of a hybrid of the Jungle Hunter and City Hunter styles. We see up here at the top we have the Caster itself. It's a removable piece. You can actually unpeg it from the arm here, which is cool since that is movie accurate. And these are all unique, just like in the film. So Celtic gets kind of the short stubby version, this kind of round ornamental bit back here. This in general looks very cool. Once again, carrying over that nice silver paint job with some black wash over top of it to give it some detail and bring out what's going on here. You have the med pack back here. It's obviously a much wider piece than it has been in the past with this little shelf coming out to the side. So a different look for this pack, but basically the same functional detail. The Plasma Caster arm has a pivot there at the bottom. It has a mid pivot, and then you can swivel at the top where the gun itself is. We also have this little slotted line, so if you want to fold your Plasma Caster up, you can actually slide it down there on the side of the backpack, and I think it looks pretty good. It kind of helps it retract further back and not stick out as much. Now, just like the other Predators, this pack is removable. You can basically unpeg it. And you can see it's actually a much cleaner solution here. We just have 2 holes in the back of the armor. It takes a little more effort to get this plugged in, but I really like how clean this came out. No real detail here on the bottom. I just wanted to show you the 2 pegs that stick out of the Plasma Caster there. Around Celtic's neck, we have his little necklace here. We have a couple different skulls and some beads on there, which are really cool. Upper armor, very similar, if not the same on all these Predators. We do have the typical neck rings in there, this kind of high collar of the armor itself, different kind of levels to the armor, making it look a little samurai-ish. Just like the biomask has that dimpled look, like it's been hand-pounded metal. That continues onto the back here, that we do have this kind of middle exposed spinal column here. This is a soft rubbery piece that connects down to the lower armor, so this actually has to help it articulate. We also have a clip here in the back that will hold the combi stick. The extended combi stick obviously doesn't work too well with this setup, but on the Predators that come with a shorter combi stick, I'll be showing this feature off a little bit more. Shoulder armor looks good. It's a nice rubberized plastic, so it will move up and out of the way when you're trying to do articulation. We can see there is actually sculpted Predator shoulder underneath there with the netting on there. Upper arm armor. We even have the strap coming around the back with the little tassels holding it on, which I think is great. Gauntlet here looks really cool, really big and bulky looking. And then we have the blades. These blades go by the same kind of principle as the Predators line, where you actually unpeg the blade from the Gauntlet as opposed to having them retract, because these are so long, and this is the medium-sized blades that Celtic comes with, so there's no way to have them practically retract, so this way works pretty well. And then we come to my least favorite part of this figure, which really isn't saying a whole lot, but the hands just seem like they're missing a little bit of paint. There's a nice brown kind of highlight there on the top of all of his fingers, but when you get to the inside of his hand, it's just this very yellow plastic, and it kind of bugs me. It's a little more highlighted here because his left hand is an open palm, and it just looks like a big expanse of just yellow emptiness. Now, the plus side here is that these hands are all interchangeable with the different Predators in this wave. They all have the same coloration, so you can actually swap out if you want a gripping hand on a different Predator, if you want the open hand on a different Predator. It's all interchangeable, which I really like. Armor on his left arm is pretty much the same until we get to the Gauntlet. Celtic has a unique Gauntlet. He has a smaller bit there on the bottom and this big net gun up on top, which looks really cool. Kind of some more of that pearlescent plastic in there, giving it that strange look. And you can see where the cannon would fire the net right there in the front. Coming down the mid-torso here, we can see there's a lot of painted netting, which I really like. They have that brown body color fading into yellow, but unlike a lot of Predators lately, the netting is pretty solid here. Going around the belt, I think all the Predators have slightly different belt accessories. We can see some fold-up shurikens, some little pouches. It's kind of like Deadpool if he was a Predator. Maybe not, but yeah. We do have a rubberized flap of armor here on the back, and then he actually kind of has a loincloth going on there. Same in the front, he has his armor piece. And you can see furry loincloth underneath. His left leg is bare here at the top, so you can get a good view of the skin detail and the netting. There's a piece of armor going down this leg with a strap going around it, which is nice attention to detail. Even the tassels coming off the strap again, or the ties coming off, which I really like. Got some big bulky shin armor, continuing on that great pounded metal look. I already mentioned the dagger sheath, which is really nice on the side there. Then we have his Predator sandals. We got the little dew claw coming out the side and the one in the back, and the big ice climbing toe spikes, or whatever these are supposed to be. It looks really good. There's a little detail on the bottom as well, but there's copyright info, and then we have peg holes. For articulation, Celtic is loaded. This new body is more articulated than any Predator NECA's done thus far. The head's on a ball joint. It'll look up, down, turn side to side, as well as tilt. I do wish it could look up a little bit more, but between the bulky dreadlocks and really just the overall bulky design, I'm not surprised it doesn't have a bigger range there, but kind of just wish it would look up a little further. The shoulders are on pin socket joints, so they will go forward. As I mentioned before, these shoulder pads are rubberized, so they can get out of the way pretty easily. They'll go back, they go out to the side. Feel a little stiff here moving them, so it seems like you need to be really careful moving these arms outward, because there's also a bicep swivel that's really close up in there, and it feels like you might pull the bicep joint more than you're going to pull the shoulder if you're not careful. We get double jointed elbows, which is brand new for a Predator. Really, really nice. And we also get a gauntlet swivel up here at the front, which helps reposition the blades and everything. And we do have a ball joint there at the wrist. We get a ball joint in the upper torso here, so you can kind of swivel side to side and move a little forward and back at the upper torso. Similar ball joint there at the waist, move side to side, tilt forward and back, lean a little bit. So between these two joints together, you can get a really good range of motion in the torso there. It's still a little stiff, but it works pretty darn well. Pin socket legs, so they will go forward, back, out to the side, as well as rotate at the upper leg. Some really nice double jointed knees. They still only go about 90 degrees, but they look really good in the process. They kind of have that floating kneecap that we've seen on some higher end figures, which I really like. We can also swivel there at the leg. And then we get a very nice ball joint here at the foot with a really good range of motion and just fantastic movement here. For a size comparison, here is Celtic alongside the two other basic Predator bodies from the other tribes. We have the Jungle Hunter there on the left, and this is the 2.0 body with the pin socket hips. And then on the right, we have the City Hunter from Predator 2. So you can see not only is Celtic a lot bulkier than these guys, he also does stand a bit taller. So this Predator really is just a gigantic body compared to his predecessors. And here's the NECA Celtic next to the McFarlane version. And just at a quick glance, it almost seems appropriate that the McFarlane one is doubled over, looking kind of sad here. The NECA one definitely has much more brilliant paint and definitely is a bit bigger. I probably will do a full Figure Wars comparison between these two, but my McFarlane Celtic is pretty broken, so it may not be the most fair comparison even then. And overall, I absolutely love this action figure. I think NECA did a phenomenal job, honestly, picking up Celtic or any of these new AVP Predators. I'll preview my feelings on the rest. I kind of felt like I was holding a mini Hot Toys again. And while I used to compare NECA to Hot Toys back before I owned any Hot Toys, this is kind of their first effort since I've collected a few Hot Toys that I kind of feel back like that again. I feel like they've put so much detail and effort into these pieces. It's just something really worth celebrating as collectors. I know I've heard a lot of people complaining, and I think I've done my fair share of it as well, that really NECA's Predator line consists of a couple body molds and endless repaints and slight retools. So getting something 100% different, I cannot find any bit on here that's shared outside of maybe the weapon blades. Those might be from the Predators line, but everything else on here is 100% unique as far as I can tell, and it's phenomenal. I think this was definitely worth the wait. I think even if you're not really a huge AVP fan, but you're a fan of Predators in general, NECA has knocked this figure out of the park. They announced pretty early on that they weren't going to do a strictly movie accurate version, and to be quite honest with you, I can't tell you exactly where they're straying from the movie design. I know they kind of made the Predator a little slimmer, a little more athletic than the ones in the film, which were more football player-ish, but I really have no complaint. I think this captures the look of the movie as much as I really need it to, and I just absolutely enjoy this figure to no end. So Celtic gets a very, very strong recommendation. That's pretty much where I feel about the other two, but we'll get into the other two Predators and discuss the little different nuances between them in the next couple reviews. But in the meantime, make sure to check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also follow me on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been another Outside the Box Reviews, and Predator Week continues next.